Muhammad Ali was a very spiritual guy. This is going to show his spirituality, and he believed that he was going to be judged when he passed away. So whenever the time came when he passed, he was going to have to answer for the life he lived. He talks about the treatment of others, how we would be nice to everybody. He also talks about how much during our day we don't do anything. So when you went to bed last night and you got up this morning, what did you or any of you do?
Pray.
Nothing. You slept.
Yeah.
So how much of our life do we sleep? If I sleep 8 hours a day, that's 1/3 of my day. So I'm going to sleep 33% of my life. So what do I doing when I'm awake and when I'm with others? So that's something that really tuned in for me personally and a lot of people that see this video. Now about what you see here. The white section did not exist. Behind one door is a closet, one door is a bathroom. On the back you'll see a photo of him in here praying. Okay, he is facing east.
Yep, always.
So this is east. If you took out a compass on your phone,
Yeah, this is east.
would be east. There's a photo over here of him standing outside the mosque, and there's also one of them praying right about where I'm standing now. You can see the baseboard heater on the floor, but that one was longer. Notice how far it went here on the paneling. All right, 5 times a day, sun up, sun down, 3 other times throughout the course of the day with prayer on a rug. The holy book was called the Quran, so they didn't have a Bible, Quran. If you would like a mini Quran or a little Quran, and you think you're going to want it and keep it, and it doesn't go somewhere and lay around, feel free to take one on your way out.
No, they don't need one.
But okay, and so that's where we're at. Any questions about that? So it's 4 minutes. He's 35 years old when this is being done. So he's kind of looking at what's he going to do after he's done boxing.
I'd like to know what you're going to do when you retire from boxing.
I really don't know. I want to say something right here. This might make you all think. Life is not really long. Let's say the average person 30 years old. If you're 30 years old, you're not but about 7 years old. How can I prove it? Add up all the 7, 8, 9 hours you slept for 30 years. Out of 30 years, add up all the nights, last night when you went to bed and woke up this morning, you don't remember a thing. You've been unconscious for about 8 years. If you're 30 years old, you slept about 8 years. Okay. How much traveling have you done in 30 years? From the television station to home, to another country, to another city, to school, to church. You've probably traveled 2 years of your life and spent just getting back and forth to where you're going. By the time you have children, by the time you have made a way for your children, by the time you pay for your home, you're pushing 60 years old. So life is real short. So you add up all your traveling, add up all your sleeping, add up all your school, add up all your entertainment, you've probably been half your life doing nothing. So what am I'm 35 years old. 30 more years, I'll be 65. We don't have no more influence. We can't do nothing much at 65. Your wife will tell you that. So what I'm saying, when you're 65, out of 30 years, I might have about 16 years to be productive. So it's how we can all break individual lives down. What am I going to do in the next 16 years? What's the best thing I can do? Get ready to meet God. Going in real estate, going in business, teaching boxers, that won't get me to heaven. How many here believe there's a supreme being, believe there's a God? How many believe there's some power that made the sun, the moon, and stars? How many believe that this stuff didn't just come out here? Somebody wiser than us made it. How many believe there's a God? How many believe there's not a God? All right. You who don't believe in God, if I told you that this glass sprang into existence, this glass made itself, no man made this glass, would you believe it? Would you believe I just told you this thing made itself? All right. Well, if this glass can't make itself, if I told you those clothes you have on wove themselves, nobody created them, those clothes made themselves, you wouldn't believe it. But if your clothes didn't make itself, if that glass couldn't make itself, if this building didn't make itself, then how did the moon get out there? How did the stars and Jupiter, Neptune and Mars and the sun, how did nature, how did all this come here if didn't know why is something planning to make it? So, we don't have it about 80 years on earth. This is a test to see where will we spend our life in heaven and hell. This is not the life now. Your real self is inside you. Your body gets old. Some of you go to look at the fridge, you don't have no teeth. Your hair is leaving you. Your bodies get tired. But your soul and your spirit never die. That's going to live forever. So
Amen.
your body is just housing your soul and spirit.
Amen.
So God is testing us on how we treat each other, how we live, to see where our real home be in heaven. So this physical stuff don't last for so long. We don't stay here. We're just trustees. We don't own nothing.
That's
Even
right.
your children are not yours. If you think I'm lying,
That's
your
right.
wife is not yours. You die and come back a year later and go slip in your bedroom and see if your wife is by herself. You don't own your wife. You don't own your, I divorced my wife. You may have read about it. And my 4 children, they call another man daddy now. They don't see me no more. You don't own your children. You don't own your family. The most important thing about life is what's going to happen when you die. Are you going to go to heaven or hell?
That's right.
That's eternity. But when I die, somebody's watching me and keeping count, and I can't get away. Then I'm going to burn forever and ever and ever. I'll go to heaven. So what am I going to do when I'm through fighting? I only have 16 years to be productive, get myself ready to meet God and go to the best place. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Amen. That was awesome.
He liked that.
I'm glad I got that.
Hopefully you were
I'm
walking
glad I
out the
taped
door
that.
with something got you thinking.